Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Before we begin, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. The news didn't arrive with flashing sirens or an official statement. It arrived quietly, through worried whispers, clipped headlines, and a sudden shift in the tone of a familiar morning voice that millions have welcomed into their homes for decades. Kelly Ripa, the ever-bright presence of daytime television, appeared different. Not broken, not absent, but human in a way that stopped fans in their tracks. For years, Kelly Ripa has been the embodiment of energy, quick-witted, sharply observant, effortlessly warm. She laughs easily, moves fast, and fills silence with charm. That's why the word scare landed so heavily, because when someone who seems endlessly strong pauses, the world notices. This was not a dramatic collapse or a shocking hospital dash caught by paparazzi cameras. Instead, it was something subtler and perhaps more unsettling. A visible emotional weight. A momentary crack in the polished rhythm of a woman who has spent a lifetime performing strength in real time. And suddenly, fans everywhere were asking the same question. Is Kelly Ripa okay? A familiar face, suddenly vulnerable. Morning television thrives on consistency. Viewers build rituals around it. Coffee mugs, alarm clocks, familiar voices. Kelly Ripa has been part of that ritual for generations. She has celebrated marriages, births, holidays, and personal milestones on air, often sharing slices of her private life with humor and grace. But recently, something felt different. Viewers noticed a quieter tone, a fleeting seriousness behind the jokes, a softness in her eyes that lingered just a second too long. It wasn't dramatic enough to trigger headlines immediately, but it was enough to stir concern among those who feel they know her. Social media began to hum with speculation, not cruel, but concerned. She doesn't seem like herself. I hope she's taking care of herself. Kelly, if you're reading this, we love you. In an age where oversharing is common, Kelly Ripa's restraint made the silence louder. The weight of always being on. What many forget is that being joyful on command is a form of labor. For decades, Kelly Ripa has been expected to show up smiling, no matter what was happening behind the scenes. She has balanced early mornings, live broadcasts, constant scrutiny, and the emotional responsibility of being a comfort figure for millions. That kind of pressure doesn't leave bruises you can photograph. Emotional health challenges rarely announce themselves loudly. They build quietly through exhaustion, responsibility, unspoken grief, and the relentless demand to be fine. For public figures, especially women, the expectation to remain cheerful can be suffocating. Kelly Ripa has spoken in the past about discipline, routine, and resilience. She is known for her work ethic, her commitment to family, and her sharp intelligence. But even the strongest routines can falter under emotional strain. And when they do, the fallout isn't scandal, it's silence. Fans feel the shift. What made this moment different was the reaction. Fans didn't rush to judgment. They didn't demand answers. Instead, they offered something rarer, empathy. Messages of support poured in from across the world. People shared their own stories of burnout, anxiety, and emotional overwhelm. Many said they felt seen, not because Kelly Ripa had explained anything, but because she didn't have to. Her presence, calmer, more introspective, mirrored what so many were feeling themselves. In that way, the scare became something collective. It wasn't just about Kelly Ripa. It was about the invisible emotional battles people fight every day while still showing up for work, family, and expectations. Behind the smile, a life lived fully. To understand why this moment resonated so deeply, you have to look at the life Kelly Ripa has lived. She is not just a television host. She is a wife, a mother, a professional who has navigated decades of change in an unforgiving industry. She has reinvented herself multiple times, adapting to new co-hosts, new formats, and new cultural climates, often under intense public scrutiny. She has grown up in public. That kind of life leaves very little room for rest. Every misstep is magnified. Every absence is questioned. Every emotional fluctuation becomes a topic of conversation. And yet she has rarely complained. Which is why, when she appeared emotionally shaken, even subtly, it felt seismic. The quiet courage of pausing. There is a misconception that emotional strength means pushing through at all costs. But real strength often looks like something else entirely. It looks like slowing down. It looks like choosing honesty over performance. It looks like allowing yourself to be seen, even when you don't explain everything. Kelly Ripa's recent demeanor suggested reflection, not collapse, awareness, not crisis. And in a culture obsessed with dramatic breakdowns, that quiet courage felt revolutionary. By not turning her emotional state into a spectacle, she reminded the world that emotional health doesn't require a public confession to be valid. Sometimes, simply being is enough. Mark Consuelos and the power of partnership. Observers also noted the steady presence of Mark Consuelos, Kelly Ripa's husband and longtime partner. Their relationship, often celebrated for its humor and honesty, has endured decades in the spotlight. In moments like these, that partnership matters. Emotional challenges don't happen in isolation. They ripple through families, relationships, and support systems. Having someone who understands both the public pressure and the private reality can be grounding. While neither Kelly nor Mark turned this moment into a headline-grabbing statement, the quiet solidarity between them spoke volumes. Sometimes, support doesn't need words. Why this moment matters. This wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a breakdown. It wasn't a tragedy. It was something more relatable, and perhaps more important. Kelly Ripa's emotional health scare reminded people that even those who seem endlessly upbeat are allowed to feel heavy. That emotional fatigue is not failure. That pausing is not weakness. In a world still recovering from years of collective stress, uncertainty, and burnout, this moment struck a nerve. It asked an unspoken question. How many of us are smiling through something we haven't named yet? The public's responsibility. There is also a lesson here for audiences. When public figures show vulnerability, intentional or not, the response matters. Compassion matters. Restraint matters. Kelly Ripa did not owe anyone an explanation. She did not package her emotions for consumption. And yet, the respect shown by many fans proved that audiences are capable of empathy when given the chance. Not every emotional moment needs to be decoded. Not every silence needs to be filled. Sometimes, the most supportive thing to do is simply say, "We're here." Moving forward, not back. As Kelly Ripa continues her work, one thing is clear. This moment will not define her by weakness, but by humanity. She has spent a career lifting others with laughter and light. If she now chooses to move at a gentler pace, that is not a fall from grace. It is growth. Emotional health is not a destination. It's a practice, one that requires listening, adjustment, and sometimes stepping out of the spotlight, even briefly. And perhaps that is the most powerful message of all. A reflection for everyone watching. Kelly Ripa's emotional health scare didn't shock because it was dramatic. It shocked because it was real. It mirrored the quiet struggles people carry every day while still showing up, still working, still smiling. It reminded us that behind every familiar face, on screen or off, there is a full human experience unfolding. Heartbreak doesn't always come with tears. Strength doesn't always come with noise. And healing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it begins with a pause. And in that pause, millions found connection, not to a celebrity, but to themselves.